Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is September 2nd, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1969, is he a legend or is he just Joe? Joe E. Legend. 1981, England's own Ian Logan. And last but not least, 1984, don't forget to dab, 'cause it's T.J. Perkins. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for September 2nd. 1985, part of one of the greatest tag teams of the 80s, Jay Youngblood. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for September 2nd. Jumping in the Wayback Machine and going to 1963, where we see Bill Watts and Jerry Kozak defeat the Mass Bolos, Mighty Bolo and Great Bolo, to win the United States Tag Team Championships. 3 years later in 1966, the EMLL 33rd Anniversary Show was held in Mexico City, headlined by Jerry London defeating Karloff Lagarde in a hair versus hair match. Skipping over the 70s and going straight to 1984, WWF World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan versus UWA World Champion El Canek in Mexico City ends in a draw in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Hogan won the first fall via pinfall, Canek won the second via DQ, and the third fall ended in a double DQ. The match received a great deal of attention in Mexico, as Canek had defeated Andre the Giant the previous February, and only Hulk Hogan's WWF title was on the line, giving Canek the chance to become a dual world champion. Our final stop in the 80s, 1987, Terry Taylor defeats Shane Douglas to win the UWF television title. Grabbing my flannel and going to the decade of grunge, 1991, Jerry Lawler defeated the Dragon Master to win the USWA Unified Championship in Memphis, Tennessee. On the same show, Danny Davis defeated Bill Dundee to win the USWA Junior Heavyweight title. That next year in 1992, WCW broadcast Clash of the Champions 20 from the center stage in Atlanta, Georgia, celebrating 20 years of wrestling on TBS, including a message from Ted Turner and the final public appearance of Andre the Giant, who was in attendance. The main event saw Rick Rude and Jake Roberts and the Super Invader and Big Van Vader defeat Sting, Nikita Koloff, Rick Steiner, and Scott Steiner in an elimination tag match. And last but not least, 1996, Jerry Lawler defeats Sid Vicious to win the USWA Unified Championship, marking Lawler's 25th reign atop of Memphis of 5,675. Those were your short but sweet pro wrestling history highlights for September 2nd. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.